Okay, hello, this is Wmpyr. Here with a different kind of video. This isn't really super planned. This just came as an idea for me last second. And yeah, it's kind of a complex video, so I hope I'm able to do it without takes because it's easy to end up getting into a situation where I'm doing like 20 takes, and that's super frustrating. Uh, but yeah, so first of all, let me start off with we live today in the misinformation age. Yeah. Today's world is abundant. It is rife with information, but at the same time, that also means there's a ton of misinformation. And one of the great ways to show someone nothing is to show them everything all at once, right? And then also a great way to lie is to give half truths, right? So then people start to like believe it more. They'll convince themselves, that you are telling the truth. Or, I mean, there are a little bit of truth in there, so that is undeniable. But it becomes difficult to tell what is true, what is not. And then before you know it, the person, gobbles up the entire thing thinking it's real when it's not. So those are some of the ways that we get messed up. And the third is what entertainment, like Hollywood and stuff, the popular stuff. So whether it's YouTube, social media, or music, TV shows, movies, these things, um, create a preconceived notions for us that it's not true because they are based on what is popular. They're based on what we want to hear. They're based on the people doing it to try to get fame and fortune rather than share the correct information, the right information. It's based off of the popularity contest. Um, what we're seeing is like the lotto winners, and and these preconceived notions are messing us up. What I have to say is, like, for example, you look at Hollywood martial arts scenes, like fight scenes and stuff. It is far, far from reality. And it gives us the wrong ideas. Like, I'm watching the TV show right now, Wmpyr, and it is a lot of fun. But every time a fight scene comes up, which is a lot because it is, um, the project is connected. It ties in to Bruce Lee, from my understanding. So it is a martial arts show, and there's a lot of fight scenes in there. But oh my goodness, folks, those fight scenes are far from reality, and people just gobble that stuff up. You got to wake up, right? So anyway, to battle from all of this, that the misinformation age, um, I'm gonna share with you guys two big things, two really really big things. There's more, but these are easier to do. So number one is stop doing what's popular. So if you see a huge, very popular YouTube channel and they're teaching martial arts, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. They're like, this is the lesson for today. No, thank you. It's that simple. And then number two is because there's a lot of misinformation. Like I said, one of the things is to show everyone, to show someone everything is a great way to throw them off. So organization is extremely important, to organize. So what this means is, and this is something that I've been telling you guys for a long time is I am not special as a martial artist. I'm not. And people will tell me that all the time, like, wow, you are special, or they will hint it out, or they'll just flat out tell me that I am a special person. I'm not. I am a no talent. I mean, I had some talents, but I mean, they were minimal, very small things. Okay. Um, yeah, I mean, I wish I was built like a tank. I wish I was a pro athlete. All those things could have helped me greatly. And I wasn't, and I will never be. It's just not in my, I want to say genetic makeup, but that's not true. But I was born very sick. I was born very weak. But anyway, my strength as a kid, even as a kid. So when everyone else is playing catch, with their fathers or whatever, I couldn't do any of that, right? So I'm indoors playing Legos. So what that means is my mind from an early age, I'm not saying I'm special or I'm, whatever, but I'm just saying that I am geared towards this, which is the creativity and messing around with Legos, right? So the thinking part is more my strengths than the action part, because like I said, I'm not an athlete, right? So my biggest contribution to you guys in the martial arts world is how I organize something. And this, whether you are an athlete or you are not an athlete, organization is something that can benefit just about anyone. So the way that I organize it is my strength. And I've said to you guys that, just historically and whatnot, everything about martial arts has already been uncovered, in my opinion. So the latest, newest thing today is to create a brand new style is no, not really. Like, everything has already been thought of. Yes, the environment has changed, so creating something to fit today's environment is, yeah, that's one thing. But what I'm really thinking is it's how you organize all this stuff. Today we have more information than ever when it comes to martial arts. Especially you go back 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years ago, martial arts was a lot more secretive, and they did not cross train as much. And, the information just wasn't there. It's not as easily accessible as it is today. So if you were going to learn a style, it was, think of the Gracies, where like Count Maeda taught the Gracie family because they were politically in a political position, a strong position. So he thought it would be beneficial or whatever, and taught the Gracie family. Unless you're like in that kind of situation, it's difficult to learn something like this. It's back then, is what I'm saying. So, organization is what I'm trying to tell you where it's at today. We got all this information, how you organize it. That to me is extremely important, and that's what I have to offer. So this is, I'm not going to lie to you guys or be deceitful or anything like that. I rewrote my book, and so my latest book is the B1 Escrima book, and it's not up online yet, but I will make it available. I am selling it. Why? Because I put a ton of work into the book, so I feel like, to just give it away for free, it doesn't do me justice in a sense, because, like I said, I put in a ton of work. So that's why I'm going to be charging for it. Unfortunately, I wish I could just give it for free, which technically I can, but I try to give so much other stuff for free, and this is one of the things where I draw the line, and I will charge. Okay, so I'm being very clear for that, and this ebook that I made that I just finished the other day. This is where I organize the stuff. And you don't have to organize it like me, but hopefully it'll give you an idea. And where I got this idea of organization, a lot of it comes from Captain Fairbairn. So, that's me, kind of citing my source right there. It's about organization. But the part where I'm telling you guys, once again, to battle the misinformation, number one is you organize your info, right? And then the sources become important. Where does this source come from? And because a lot of what's going around in these really popular social media channels and stuff, they're just parroting around what's the fad, what's popular right now, and that constantly changes. So you're just putting yourself in a place where, it's so chaotic that it's going to be difficult to ground yourself. Organization battles that. You will ground yourself. You go, okay, so this is my core. This is, kind of like when you're writing a book, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. You will ground everything. You will have order. So that's what's important there. Organize, okay? Just because you organize doesn't mean it's correct, but it will ground you instead of just going with the flow like mindless sheep being led to a slaughter. And that's what's happening in the big picture, so to speak, is we're just being taken advantage of, in my opinion, just because some few people want fame and fortune or whatever. Yeah, I'm telling you guys to combat that organization. The other thing, like I said, is to stop doing what is popular. Okay, because the more you put yourself in that vortex of chaos, of this is what's cool right now, this is what's trendy right now, this is what everyone's saying right now, get out of that. Get out of that, because it's all over the place, And what I'm going to try to help with you guys, I'm going to really try to start focusing on this, is to stop doing what is popular. Let's go with something that, and I've been saying to you guys, is that angles of attack and the double arm weaving. So if you're interested in Escrima, these are the two. These are the two main things, your angles of attack and double arm weaving. That's what you should be doing. That's what you should be spending the most time with. And if you go to a school, you won't. Okay, you'd probably be doing a lot more partner training. And people will get spoiled with partner training. I had my students tell me, I remember telling my students over and over again, hey, make sure you do your homework. Make sure you become friends with solo training, because that is where you're going to be spending the most time. That is the most important. But people will say, I enjoy partner training. I feel like I learned so much more. You're not listening. The blind, that's what you are. You're a beginner, so you're blind, and the blind person is in charge, which is wrong. The blind person should not, and please, if you're blind, don't get offended. I'm just using this as an example. It's not a great example, so I apologize. But yeah, the beginner should not be in charge. Okay, listen to your coach, right? Listen to your coach. So the problem is we are taught that we are capable and we are smart, which we are. But the result of that, because we learn so much and there is so much information out there, that we become full of ourselves. We don't have the right values and we don't listen. We become a generation where we don't listen. therefore, when you don't listen, you're not making the right judgment calls. And that's why you'll say stuff like partner training is so much more fun. I learned way more from partner training, so I don't really want to do the best training I'm getting is from partner training. I don't really want to do solo training. And that's where you are, you know, you're brainwashing yourself and you're missing. You're missing it. Look, partner training is important. It is important. In fact, that's the only way you could really develop defense is through partner training. Okay. Solid defense comes from partner training, but that is level 2. That is level 2. Level 1 is angles of attack and double arm weaving, and it's not level 1 because it's not as good. I've said to you guys that level 2 is where it's at. Yeah, defense, and I truly believe that, but I don't want people to misunderstand that, okay? Your angles of attack and double arm weaving is your foundation. That is your core, okay? And people go, well, I do it all the time. I do both of those all the time. So I'm good. No, you're not. Everything I've seen online, most people don't know how to develop this. So I will do my best to try to help. And I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I have been doing it for a long time. So you do have to get creative. And a lot of people don't know how to do this. And that's where I go back to my Lego days, where I was thankfully used to being creative. When there were toys that I wanted, like when He-Man first came out and I saw the commercials and they were amazing. Amazing commercials of He-Man toys back in the day. He-Man, He-Man, da-da-da-da. Yeah, to this day I remember that stuff and it takes up space in my brain. That toy commercial, and I wanted He-Mans, but they're big and they cost a lot more than a Star Wars figure or a G.I. Joe figure. And, my parents were kind of reluctant to buy it for me. So what did I do? I made it out of Lego. I made my He-Mans out of Lego at first. Later, I did get He-Mans. I will admit that. But at first, I did that. I remember when I first saw Gundam, where a lot of people today know about Gundam because Japanese culture is popular over here in the U.S. But back then, it was when I went to go visit my grandparents in Japan that I get to see Gundam. And I came back going, that is amazing, And here in the U.S., what did we have? We had Star Wars. And I was like, well, Gundam's kind of like Star Wars on steroids. They still have the lightsabers and stuff, but now they're huge, badass robots, super robots, duking it out. And it is a war, just like it's Star Wars, And I was like, that is amazing stuff. Anyway, I'm back here in the U.S. because it was just to go visit my grandparents, and I saw Gundam. Here in the U.S., there's no Gundam at the time in the 80s. So what am I going to do? Well, I made it out of Lego. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is creativity was no stranger to me. And for the angles of attack and double arm weaving, in order for you to keep training that, you absolutely need creativity. You need the art part in martial. And there's so many people that there will be people, there have been people that come out on YouTube and they say, I'm taking out the art part in the martial arts. No, we don't need the art part, or they look down on the art aspect. And yeah, that is people, that's once again, the blind leading the blind, So look, I'm telling you right now, the angles of attack and the double arm weaving is what you should be doing. And I promise I will I will reveal more. I have been, but I will reveal more about that in future videos for you guys, because it is about solo training. And if you are interested in seeing a little bit more of the bigger picture, the organization part, how do you organize all this stuff together, then my book that I wrote is one source. I'm not going to say it's the source or the best source, or look no further. No, that's a lie. So I'm not going to say that. But yeah, and I'm not going to say to you guys, help me out. No, if you're interested and you want to, you know, it's going to be available for you guys, and I will appreciate it. Of course, I will be thankful, but I'm not going to say, please help me and please buy. I've never begged like that on my YouTube channel that I can remember, and I never plan to. I'm not going to start if I do start what do they call it? Patreon or something like that. I mean, it's just because it is financially going to help me, beneficial. But I'm never going to come out and ask you guys, you know, I don't like that being done to me, so I'm not going to do it to you. Okay. And it'll be there if I do it, or like this book, it's going to be there, but I'm not going to be constantly hounding you guys and what is it? Uh, like and subscribe, and you don't see me say that in every video. It's super annoying, and it's super, like, once again, the misinformation age. Let's all do this massive brainwashing, and people will defend that, like, hey, you got to make a living. Yeah, of course, and that's why I don't need to say it. So yeah, anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.